Welcome back to my channel. In this part of our tutorial series on unit testing with NUnit in C# at .NET, we are taking a significant step forward. We are going to write our very first unit test. Before we write our first test, we need to set up a test class. I'll guide you through creating a sample test in Visual Studio. I'll demonstrate how to write a basic NUnit test method. You will learn how to use NUnit attributes to define your test cases and assertion to validate the expected outcomes. The NUnit test runner is a powerful tool for executing your test. I'll show you how to run your first test, interpret the result, and understand what a passing and failing test looks like. It's time to dive into action. Follow this step to write your first unit test. Before we get our hands on writing the first unit test, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Don't miss any of our upcoming tutorial on unit testing, C# programming, and software development. So let's see the step we need to follow to write the first unit test. We have 6 steps. The first step is create a new test class in your sample project. Then define a test method using NUnit attribute. Write code to test a specific piece of functionality in your project. Number 4, use NUnit assertion to validate the expected result. 5, run the test using the NUnit test runner. Then the last one, we need to analyze the test result and understand the significance of passing and failing tests. So let's do this step in a real project and investigate the challenges together. So in the previous episode, we created a new test project for persistent layer, and now I wanna add unit tests for this class, email validator. So the first thing we need is create a class within the test project. Click on the project name and right click, then add class. We need to just add test at the end of name of our class. For example, here our class is email validator, and the name of the test class should be email validator class. For the next step, we need to define a test method using NUnit attribute. In order to do that, we need to find a specific piece of functionality as a unit. For example, in this class, we can consider this part as a unit functionality and define a unit test for that. So we need to create a method inside of this class. But first, let's change this internal to public, and then we just write public void, and we need a name for our unit test. Here we want to test if email is null or contain white space, it should return false. Then we can name it as when email is null, then should return false. We will talk about method naming convention in another video, but for now just accept this name for this unit test. So The first phase for writing a unit test is arrange. In this phase, you set up the test environment. This includes creating object, initializing variable, and preparing the condition for your test. So you need to create a new instance of email validator. Validator equal to new. So here also you need to add a reference to cleantemplate.persistence. So we created a new instance of email validator, and also we need an email variable for the input of this method. Then we create string email. So in this case, we suppose that email is null. Then the next phase will be act. This is where you perform the actual test. You execute the specific code or method that you wanna test. So we need to write var result, and as we say, we need to execute the validator. Validator dot is email validator, and the input is email. And the third phase is assert. This is the final phase. You verify the outcome of the test. You use assertion to check if the result matches your expectation or not. For the assertion part, we use assert class to verify the result of the test. So here, if the value, if the email is null, it should return false. Then assert is false, then the result should be false. For completing this test case, we need to just add test attribute at the top of the method. Now our unit test is completed and it's able to run. To run a unit test, you need to access to the test explorer. So for doing that, go to the test menu and the top of your screen, click on the test and then test explorer. Here you can see all of your unit tests, and by clicking on this button, you can run all of your unit tests. Our unit test just turned green, which is fantastic. But here is the deal. If someone messes with the email validator's logic and does it wrong, the unit test will turn red. Think of unit testing as your code guardian, making sure everything runs smoothly. We'll explore the world of unit testing to ensure your code stays in tip-top shape. Don't forget to subscribe for more software developer tips. Till next video, happy coding!